kinds of reasons, essentially. One was to get more ideas around what can be done, what can, how they can organize, etc. And another was to be updated on what's going on. So we're going to start with the update first, which everybody, some people know more about what's happening, some people know less, some people are newer, some people have been involved for quite a while. So we'll start with that. And then we'll go into asking you to give where you're at and go one by one, each location, some of the issues you're confronting and what you're looking for and what you're doing, so people can learn from each other. And then we'll go into a discussion about the issues that emerge from that roundtable. And then finally, we'll have open discussion around anything else that people want to bring up. And we'll also allow that if people want to stay back, that their questions haven't been answered, we can stay back for a bit longer and go through what's any particular questions, any particular issue people have, after the meeting's officially over. So that's roughly the agenda. And so I'm going to start now with a bit of an overview of what's been happening. Yes, David.
So could we ask for people just to put your name and location into the chat?
Okay, sure. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be good.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so the background is this, and I'm going to start with some pretty basic stuff that a lot of you know already, but some of you don't. And I apologize if it's repetitive for some. So first of all, what are the objectives? That was one of the questions that was asked. And the objectives are, I think, as follows. One is that seniors across Canada are declaring that we need climate action and that we're organizing ourselves to demand that, and we're working with others for a better world and for real action on climate. This is an initiative that was started probably in this late spring, and when we set the initiative, we thought we don't know what kind of response we're going to get. So the measurement for us of success is going to be the number of locations rather than the total number of people. And the reason for that is that we're beginning. Sorry, I just have to let people in. Maybe David, you could watch that too. Admit people.
I am. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. The objective being that we want to actually start something that will grow. We want to see what kind of response there is. So the number of locations we have in the beginning of building the basis for organization that we can work on beyond October 1st was the key, as opposed to we're going to have 50,000 people or something like that. We know we can't do that. But the interesting thing is we've had an incredible response, and that's really important. So already, in one sense, we've already achieved the victory that we hope to achieve, and we want to move on from there. The other thing to know is that we, deliberately didn't try to represent Quebec in this movement because we didn't feel we were in a position to do that. But we are also trying to make connection with organizations in Quebec. And most recently, there's been a meeting with one group, Equiterre, which is one of the key organizers in Quebec of activities there. And they have a big event on September 27th, I believe it is. And so they will be actually putting some of the material we have in their demonstrations on the 27th. And going beyond October 1st, we'll see where that goes. But we want to build it on the basis of people in Quebec have their own movement. It's actually quite powerful. And we want to establish working relationship with them rather than try and say, well, we're the cross Canada group kind of thing. The other issue is around Indigenous people, and we are working on right now. There's a discussion of a statement that we might have, and we recognize the importance of Indigenous people in the climate movement, and we're slowly trying to figure out how to relate to that. So that's the other thing to know. And finally, it was a question that was asked early on when we started this. What are you planning beyond October 1st? So you have an event October 1st, then what? And just to let you know that there is a discussion happening in a steering committee. So there's a steering committee which has representation from most provinces across the country. That steering committee is going to have an initial discussion, but we intend, or we hope, with that discussion to also come back to the various locations before October 1st, and then on October 1st be able to say, here's what's next, here's where we're going. And we didn't want to try to resolve that until we knew what we were working with. So that's underway, and that's some of the stuff that we're talking about. In the immediate timelines, the next event is going to be August 27th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be a meeting of all organizers in all the locations across Canada. And that will be, sort of like the big push towards the final month when we organize the events on October 1st. We'll also have on September the 11th a webinar where we will try to reach as many people as possible across the country to let them know what we're doing on October 1st and to mobilize as many people as possible to participate. And so that'll have some headliners, David Suzuki, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the doctor from Yellowknife, I believe, but a doctor who is internationally renowned as well. They'll be on a panel, and you'll get more information on that. I think the first notice was sent out recently. There'll be more information on that. So that's important in terms of moving things ahead. And also there'll be workshops on media and social media, which will be announced soon. And then those will be available to you. And if you have questions or want to participate in those workshops. Other things, there'll be a promotional video, which is being worked on, hopefully by the end of this month, and or soon thereafter, there'll be a promotional video that you will have access to and be able to use. There's a media strategy being worked out, and somebody actually been hired to develop and work with media across the country so that on October 1st, it becomes a national story. That's the objective. We'll see how close we get to that, but we certainly want to try and do that. And then also, I want to go through briefly what is available to you. And I'm just going to share the screen with for a second, and let me know if you can see that. It's the web page. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the web page, just so you know, there are resources. And the resource, so this is the home. Let me just go home first. There's the home of the web page. And with our message, and what we're looking to do, who we are, action plan, and what you can do and how you can help, and also contact. So people contact us through that. But the resources page has several things. There's the toolkit, and you'll maybe be looking for the information on this toolkit. And here, there's a table of contents about us, printable assets, social media contact, branding, and planning your local action. And so the key messages are here. And I'll come back to that in a minute. There's a toolkit, which has quick links to all of these items, and you can go through and look at them in more detail when you have a chance. It has printable assets, so if you want to print a local poster, you can download the graphics for that. You can also work with Eric, which we can put you in touch with. We'll put his contact in later to design things for your local community. So there's a number of things like that. There are graphics for, or the right word for it is a template for banners and flags that are also are downloadable. And then you have these templates for, I don't quite understand how these work, but these are things that can help you design promotional posters, etc. And Instagram account, Facebook stories, things you can use on social media. And the logo when you need it, an icon, the type of font you can use that we use, and colors for the different things. So there's quite a substantial number of things that are there that are available to you. And I don't pretend to be the best at knowing how to use that. I just want to make sure you are aware of it. And of course, we'll try to answer your questions. And somebody will answer your questions regarding those things. Messaging is that we have what's called the 3 pillars. And they are essentially that we're facing unnatural disasters, new and escalating levels of extreme heat, fire, and floods. There are solutions that are affordable and healthy, beneficial to all, and capping emissions is the key, and eliminating the use of fossil fuels, and that we need bold action. We need to act now with our vote, our spending power, our audacity, our advocacy as part of a broad-based, deep-rooted movement. So we want to build alliances with others. We're initiating and organizing the demographic of seniors, but we want the Alliance to be with everyone. And so that's the real message that we're concentrating on in terms of delivering where we're at. I also want to tell you about the tips for organizers, which give me a second. I'll make sure I can show that to you briefly. Right here. Okay, 1 second. This tips for organizers we will send out to you, and it gives you, here we go. Can you see that? Okay. Let me just adjust this a bit. Can you see it okay, first of all?
Yep.
Yes, okay, so let me just make it a bit bigger. And so this is a quite a long document, which has got these elements to it, these topics: elements of organizing an event, land acknowledgement, event insurance, fundraising, outreach to other groups, promotion, postering, leaflets, social media, community TV, communications and media, marshals. If you have a large event, you need marshals, source for climate songs, chants, and signs. So, and I won't go into the detail of all that, but that's available to you, or will be available to you. We'll send it out to you following this. And it also, of course, at some point will be available on the website, if it isn't already. I'm not 100% sure about that. Also, we mentioned Barb Linz and David Smith, who are here today. Barb does everything from BC to Ontario in terms of contact with organizers. So many of you know her already. David Smith is handling east of Ontario primarily, but also doing some internal work and administrative work around managing all the different and holding together, mapping all the different things we're involved in. The other thing you should know is that there's $100 allowed or not allowed available for each event location. If you need some money to print posters or leaflets and perhaps make a banner. There's also a flag which will be sent out. If you tell us you want a flag, we'll send one flag per location. So let us know about that, and there'll be more about how you do that. Those will be provided by based on the fundraising we've done more centrally. The pledge will be available, and the pledge and flag are meant to be something that brings all the groups together on that day. So that on that day, people will do many different things in all kinds of different locations. But we're hoping that one thing they do in common is show the flag and read over and adopt the pledge that we will that is available. And I won't go into that right now because I don't want to take too much more time. And that's mainly it. Back on the web page, I'm just going to go back to that for a second. And that's not it. Where to go? Hold on, sorry. Oh, that was it. Sorry, yeah, okay. You'll see there's a map. And if you haven't looked at the map yet, that map shows us locations across the country where events are happening. We're now at 54 locations, and there are still more growing. And if you click on any given location, it will tell you the place and a contact person. In other cases that are more advanced, there'll be a description of what's happening. So please, if you're planning your event, get the information in, and we'll put it on the webpage on a map so that it's available to other people across the country. And I guess that's it in terms of what I'm going to present right now. We'll take a few questions, and I see somebody has their hand up. I'm just going to stop sharing and remind you that that some of your questions, if we can't answer them now, there'll be a period of time at the end where we'll stay back and have a chance to do that. So any questions regarding the overall thing? Yes, Laurie.
No, I was just going to say, when we show some screenshots or websites, if you could just make it larger for us, because I know you're just showing like what's available, but just a bit hard to sort of read.
On the screen when I was showing just now, you mean? Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I think that was it. That was my only comment.
Okay.
And Nick, Janet Huggins ask for a certain page to be put back up again.
Okay. Which page was that, Janet?
She said the one before the, go ahead, Janet.
The one before, the one that you just put up now, October the 1st, with a long list of aides, assistants. Not the one you got now, but the one before that.
The tips and for, and answer.
Yeah.
This one, and is it large enough? This one?
Yeah, that's for me, that's okay, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna send that out to you. You just wanted to see that list?
Okay.
Okay, we're good? I'll stop sharing now.
Okay with me.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, thank you. So now we'll do the go round, and what we'll ask people to do is we'll introduce yourself like location by location. And we'd like one person from each location to describe, you know, essentially where you're at in terms of your organizing and what questions you have or comments you have that you want to get answered. And we'll go do a roundtable of those, you know, with the whole group. And then Barb is going to give us a sense of where we might go in terms of discussion following what you've presented. We'd like you to spend maybe just a couple of minutes, try to keep it brief if you don't mind, because otherwise you know, we've got about roughly 20 people, 19 people, 19 times 2 is 40 minutes. So we're already into a lot of time. We want to have time for this discussion as well. So a brief presentation, what's happening in your area, and if one speaker, but if somebody else in that, you know, from that group wants to add or is something that's forgotten, please do that. So is that's okay? Who wants to start? Looks like Mike McCaig.
Well, I'm Barb Phillips with Mike McCaig. We're from Lethbridge, Alberta. We have booked Lethbridge City Hall for October 1st from 3 to 5 p.m. The city was kind enough to waive the permit fee, so we have the permit. We will take out our $2 million liability insurance as the city has requested and show them proof of that. We formed a committee of 5 last week, headed by retired Professor Dr. James Byrne, but he's at Waterton, I think, on holidays today. I don't think he's on this Zoom. So Mike and I are on the committee of 5, and of the committee of 5, 3 are raging grannies. So of course we are singing. And we feel quite comfortable. We've already contacted the 2 senior centers in Lethbridge. We will be in their monthly paper newsletter as well as online in September. We've also applied to the Southern Alberta Council of Public Affairs to speak there and maybe use your promotional video if we can. And that takes place weekly in Lethbridge, so sometime towards the end of September. So we feel we started the process. That's about it.
Sounds to me like you have. And do you have any particular questions or?
Not really, because yeah, we sort of have done a lot of rallies in Lethbridge, and
Okay.
So yeah, getting the location and the permit was the first thing, and that's been done. And we'll go from there. We hope to get minimum 100 people out, but maximum, oh wow, hundreds. We shall see. Juniors to seniors, we're saying. We want them all.
Okay, good, cool. Thank you. Okay, who wants to go next? And I'm wondering if we should just go around the screen because otherwise I'll probably miss people. So is that okay if I just point to somebody and say, go? Okay, so Billy Gardner. I saw you nod your head, so I figure you're okay to start with.
All right, very good. I shall start, Nick. Where I am talking to the seniors groups in Essex County. There are 4 of them and 1 in my town, so 5 of them. I have booked an introductory presentation, of which I have not put together yet. But the first one will go out the door on September the 5th, and I'm hoping that I will have them all out the door by mid-September. My big problem is where can I do this? And what does the kinds of insurance for say a city hall or a town hall run a person?
Okay, and where's Essex County?
Essex County is right on the very tip of the peninsula, right across from the city of Detroit.
So that's in Ontario. Okay.
Yeah.
Good, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we noted that question.
Okay.
And is there anybody else from your location here on the call?
No, I am the location and the person.
Okay, great. Congratulations. Okay, cool. So then I'm going to go to David Goldman.
Thank you. Actually, what Nicole was just talking about, I didn't realize that she was up and active. So that's great. One of the points I wanted to make was that I'm in Toronto, but I spent 35 years in Windsor, Essex. And on May 28th noted that there weren't any groups identified at that time. And it occurred to me that David Suzuki went to elementary and secondary school in Leamington, Ontario, and that if he were available to do some kind of virtual presentation, that would be a major draw for people in that area. So I just leave that idea out there. I have several other questions, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks. Okay, I'm just going to my screen. Rob Gardner. The Gardners are going early on here.
Hi there, I'm from Medicine Hat, Alberta, and there's a number of people that are interested in being involved, and however, they say if you want something done, you have to ask somebody who's busy to get it done. These people do seem to be too busy to actually get an organizing committee together, and so I'm about to just kind of take over as an autocratic decision and see what happens. So we're planning on having a few local experts who are seniors or near seniors talking about exactly what individuals can do. And as a bit of a long-term legacy aspect, have them produce a simple one-page description that we can put up on a website on various, about half a dozen different climate solutions and what people can actually do. So, for example, with solar panels, the address of and contact information for companies that install them and how to do it, how to get permits for it. So that's where I'm at, I guess. And I have had feedback from one of my contacts that the SCAN network in Ontario is fairly confusing. It's not clear if they're part of this project or not. And if Nick or somebody could work with them to clarify on their website what their role is compared to this group, it would be helpful for people that aren't really familiar with that group.
Yeah, I can answer that. I'll come back to that at the end of as we go around. And is there anything else, questions you have?
No, that's good, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Okay, that takes me to Lori Fountain.
Is that Lori Goldman?
No,
The
Fountain.
other Lori.
Fountain. There's two Loris, two Gardners, two Loris. Okay, go ahead, Lori.
Hi, I was the original person, the contact person for Moncton. I had just come out from Ontario, so I didn't know anybody in New Brunswick, but I did manage to get a few things done. Contacted the New Brunswick Environmental Network, and they sent out information about the October 1st event to all their environmental groups. Since then, Louise Comeau's name is now on the Moncton map. She's got everything organized in Fredericton. She's not here today, but they're going full speed in Fredericton with permits arranged and so on. She'll probably be able to report a little bit later or whenever. In the meantime, Louise also knows people in Moncton, and we have two different groups that have people that are interested in going forward. So things are happening, things will happen, and I'm just reporting back because my name was initially on that spot, and I'll be joining one of the groups on October 1st.
Okay, and do you have any questions, Lori, or things that you need to
I don't think
answer?
so. I think I can see the ball is rolling. I'm going to all the meetings, and I'll be going to a meeting, the Fredericton meeting, in a few days. And we'll find out what's happening there as well. I've actually attended the Fredericton meetings in person simply to find out what's going on and to see how I can help. And that's basically my story. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. So Lori Goldman now.
Okay, thank you. I'm in Penticton, BC in the Okanagan Valley, and we have a core group of a steering committee of 8 to 11 people, I think, and everybody's taking on some different tasks. We've got the posters ready to send out. We've just been fine tuning them. And we're hopefully getting the city to declare a proclamation for a National Seniors Day, or to declare this week Seniors for Climate Week. And that would be my question. What would be the best proclamation request to, because you get a photo op and they say, whereas, blah, climate is a big deal, we declare this day or this week something. And so that would be a question I have, is how we should phrase the ask. We are meeting at a art gallery parking lot, we think, and we're going to walk and roll and cycle and mobility scooter a couple of blocks to City Hall, hopefully with signs, like with the big poster on the front or on the bikes, so that we make a splash to get some media coverage. We often do when we do events. And then if we are accepted to have the proclamation, which we have to have in about 3 or 4 weeks ahead, then we present. And so I think we have 5 minutes to even do a short presentation before they accept the proclamation, and then we get the photo op. And we're hoping that our seniors, our participants, will we will cut out pennants in triangles for people to put clothespins on along like a seam binding tape, and people can write their hopes on there for the future or their demands. And then we hope to actually go into City Council and take up all the seats with these flags to make a statement that later is too late.
Great. Okay, cool. And so you had the question around the proclamation. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask?
No, I think I was just sharing what we are organizing, but that's a question. I'm going to put the petition that a petitions template that somebody gave to me, because other people may want to have their city also, because cities do this. They declare things, and it's really great for media coverage. I'm going to put that in the chat.
Please do. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go to Dave Gregory.
Oh, well, I'm the contact person for Nelson, BC. For those who don't know where Nelson is, it's in the southeast corner of BC, just up from the US border. It's currently much too close to the huge forest fires in the Slocan Valley. Barbara has sent me about half a dozen contact people to contact, and I've been doing that. I've been in touch with all of them so far, but we haven't managed to have an in-face meeting yet. So we're very early in this process. The one idea, or one other thing I've done, is that I've contacted the local chapter of the Council of Canadians. We have one here in Nelson, and they passed a motion at their last meeting to support whatever demonstration we do. And they will be useful allies, because they're much better at doing things like posters and stuff than I am. And the one idea that we've had so far for a demonstration is outside the RBC Bank, which is right in the center of Nelson, and bring along rocking chairs and have a sort of ceremony with the pledge and pass out leaflets.
Great.
So that's about where we're at.
Okay, and anything else that you want to ask or particularly want discussed?
No, I'm here mainly just to listen to what people are doing and seeing if there are better ideas than we have so far. And I'm very glad to see all the information about the helpful stuff that's online. And I'll be going through all that, which I haven't done yet.
Fabulous. Thank you. Kim Charlesworth.
Hi there. I am from Kitchener, Kitchener, Ontario, Waterloo region, Kitchener, Waterloo. And we actually, it's a weird thing. There's about 7 municipalities here in Waterloo region, and we're organizing to reach as many people as we can in all 7 municipalities. We decided to go not with an idea of a rally, because we wanted, our idea was that rallies, you only get the people that like to go to rallies, and they're probably already the converted. So our thought process was that we wanted to reach as many people who maybe hadn't thought about acting on the climate crisis before. So what we came up with was doing two focuses. One is we are going to have a central location at one of the public libraries where we host a session that is meant to be both educational but supportive. So giving some information on climate change, as well as here are the actions that you can do, and kind of relating it to, so seniors can write letters to their pension fund administrators to say, we want you to divest from insurance companies and banks and companies that are fueling climate change, oil and gas industry, that kind of thing. That if you live in a retirement home, you can write your administrator or your chef and say you'd like to see more plant-based options on the menu. How to write your local politicians and what to ask for in that. And because we are expecting that there could very well be both a federal and a provincial in Ontario election either this fall or next spring, ideas on how to figure out who are climate action progressive candidates and parties, what the questions to ask these people to find out what they're suggesting, and to get out and vote. So that was our thought process. So we're going to do a central one at Kitchener Public Library, which won't charge us any fees, doesn't require any insurance, that kind of thing. And we're also going to send out a package to the program administrators at a wide variety of seniors residences in these 7 municipalities that make up Waterloo region, asking them to partner with us, giving them information on climate action, and organizing if they want to participate in a training day ahead of October 1st, so that we can go in and talk to them about, okay, this is the climate science, this is why we need to do this, these are all the variety of actions, just so that they become comfortable, because we can't reach all of the 150 retirement homes that are in the Waterloo region. So we want to engage these people in perhaps hosting something in their own, the retirement home that they work in, and training them if they need it, or providing resources for them if they need it, to have the kind of conversation that we're going to host at the Kitchener Public Library in their own retirement home, so that people don't have to leave the home if they don't want to. So that was our thoughts.
Okay. Anybody else from your area? It's your
Not on the call tonight. No, a couple people couldn't make it tonight.
That's fine. Cool. Thank you. Harvey Scott.
Yeah, hi, Harvey Scott from Athabasca, Alberta. We're relatively new to this group, so we're basically, we have something called the Athabasca Regional Renewable Energy Association, and we happen to be all very senior. We all have our homes and farms powered up on solar and we have EVs and so on. So we're just sort of getting started on what we might do on this day. But I heard a lot of good ideas already, including the last one. So thank you for that. It's good to see some old friends. I see David Gregory there from the Kootenays, and
Yeah.
he used to be an Athabascan. So it's good to see some comrades from the past. The people in Southern Alberta that spoke obviously are well organized and ahead of us. We're just trying to figure out what we might do. We're thinking about maybe just building on some of the renewable projects we're thinking about. One would be, we're in the process of trying to build a passive solar greenhouse here for community produce, and we may feature that. But yes, we're just sort of at the beginning, but and the other people who are sort of part of our group not able to come today. But I want to just say that one person that has been involved in this group longer than myself, and he wasn't able to come because he's actually had a medical situation, but he was very enthusiastic. And the last meeting that he attended, he kind of got puzzled or sort of turned off a little bit. In the beginning, he understood one of the key points about the Seniors for Climate was going to be connecting or supporting young people in our efforts. And the last meeting he attended, he didn't hear any of that. So my question to you then, Nick, would be, can you talk a little bit about how in terms of general thinking, how you or the group sees us connecting with young people, kids, young adults, and others? I guess that's my question, but thank you for the meeting today and for everybody's input. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, that takes us to Susan Strong.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Susan. I'm from Red Deer, and I've just recruited about half a dozen of my retired nursing colleagues who have agreed to come on to help me with this project. So I'm quite relieved with that because it's been a little bit of a struggle to get people involved. We have decided that we're going to reach out to all of the seniors complexes in the Red Deer area to try to recruit representatives from each one of them to help us to motivate people to attend a rally at one of our seniors complexes. And it's on city property, so the city tells us that they won't charge us for a permit and we don't have to have insurance. So I guess my question is that agreeable to the Canadian Council that we don't have insurance for this rally? Yeah, we're in the very beginning of this group coming together, so it's good to hear other people's ideas. It happens on National Seniors Day, so the city of Red Deer is doing a big fair for seniors in the morning, so I plan to be there to try to recruit people to come in the afternoon, and our small chapter of Council of Canadians in Red Deer is also going to be supporting us. So yeah, we're moving ahead.
Fabulous. And any particular question other than the one you asked that was about the acceptable to not have insurance, et cetera, right?
That's my only question. It's good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Don Brown.
Oh,
Don, I know. Hi, Don.
Oh, hi there. Yes. I'm a member of Elders for Climate Sanity in the city of Hamilton, Ontario. And we have probably about 12 members within our group. And we're a subgroup of Hamilton350.org. We've been operating as Elders for Climate Sanity for about the last 3 years, mainly doing what we call bank action, letting people know by leaflets on the street and our own signages that we have around our necks and covering our frontage, how much all 5 of our major banks the billions of dollars which they loan of their customers' money to the fossil fuel industries. And we ask people that they might consider switching their bank accounts to a credit union, which is much more community oriented, and of which they can actually become a member and vote at their annual meetings and have some say. And also, and when they, if and when they were able to do that, that they should let their banks know. We also do leafleting. Along with the leafleting, we also have letters both to the pension fund director and also to the CEO of the Royal Bank, which is the worst offender in terms of loaning billions of dollars to fossil fuel. And so that people can send them in. Sometimes we even offer stamps for the people to send those letters into to those officials. We're very excited about this October 1st event, which you're organizing. We're beginning to think of what we can do here. And I think I'm the only person actually out of the Elders for Climate Sanity on the webinar tonight. And I'll bring back, I hope, some ideas that I find. And we're interested in the $100 that you're offering and also the flag. So we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Just have to tell you that Don Brown he's 98, he's extremely active. Really impressive. Thanks, Don. Josephine, sing, please. Josephine, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I joined in March here in Edmonton, and Carmen Lucelle, she is our leader, and I'm with the Council of Canadians also. And our last meeting was that we are going to make a big banner, you know, possibly with later is too late or something like that. I'm not sure. But this is only next week because Carmen is not here this week. So I said I'm gonna listen in today. So I think we will be, and she's also part of the Singing Grannies. So she's actually head of the Singing Grannies also. Maybe we'll have some singing and a banner, and like the other lady from Red Deer, was it Red Deer? Yeah. We probably will stand in front of the City Hall, which we have done before, when we said water is a human right, or no, it's cool or something, a right to be cool, that's a human right or something like that. So that was in the middle of the hot summer, yeah, like a few weeks back in July. Yeah. And yeah, so I said, okay, I'll show up to paint the banner. But we're not 100%, but we're all discussing it next week. What 100% we're gonna do.
Okay, and I know you've got a group of about 12 people there, I think, or so active, right? And did you have any particular questions, Josephine, at all? Or?
No, I'm just listening in, and I'm writing down all the good suggestions or what people are going to do. Yeah, thank you. Gathering information. Thank you.
Thank you. Lois Little.
Hi. Yeah, I'm the contact person here in Yellowknife. I think I got tapped because I'm a former, well, was the chair of the NWT chapter of the Council of Canadians when it was active. So I have been working, kind of coordinating between the Yellowknife Senior Society and Ecology North, which is a long-term environmental NGO here in Yellowknife. So I've kind of facilitated a conversation, and the two organizations have agreed to work together and sponsor a potluck and community conversation on Seniors for Climate. And essentially what we're going to do, you may be familiar with the World Cafe model, but essentially we'll set up 7 or 8 tables on major themes associated with elements of climate breakdown, you know, drought, wildfires, food security, health and safety, those kinds of topics. And Ecology North is offered to round up some hosts for each of those tables and encourage conversation about what people's concerns are about those particular topics, who should be doing, what actions should be taken, who should be doing it, and most importantly, what each individual attending those various tables, what they are prepared to do. And the host of the table will record all of those things on flip charts so that people have an opportunity to articulate their commitment to action on whether it's water levels or preventing fires or whatever. So the Senior Society has a facility. They are donating their hall and their kitchen so that we can, there's no cost involved. They've committed to promoting the event. Ecology North has also, aside from helping identify the hosts for each of the tables, they will be promoting the event as well. So by and large, it's all kind of unfolding as it should. I've been cautioned by both organizations to make sure that there is no political push at these discussions, because they're both NGOs, they're both without any resources. And so these times in the NGO community are very sensitive. So anyways, got to stay away from politics and can't really demand any resources from anybody. But we will be pushing alliances and trying to draw in as many young people and Indigenous organizations as we can, both as a source of hosts for each of the tables on particular climate breakdown issues. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and we've requested a flag. And I don't have any questions and I don't really have any concerns at the moment, but it's nice to meet everybody and hear everybody's great ideas. And it sounds like it's going to be a great day on October the 1st. So thank you.
Thank you. Fabulous. Anita Payne.
Hi, I'm from the Perth, Ontario area. And in the past, we've had a number of actions on climate actions on Highway 7, which is like a main highway going through Perth. And there's a committee, there's 6 of us, we met online on Monday night. And what we've decided to do is just to do that kind of thing again, where we meet over the noon hour along Highway 7 with signs, and a couple of our signs say honk for climate action. And what we're going to do is try to push to get a lot more people out for this event than we've had in the past. Prior to the COVID shutdown, 2019 was our largest turnout when we had about 100 people out both sides of Highway 7. And so what we're going to do is get the word out and contact a lot of the organizations in the area that will have seniors as members, just to try to promote it and get just get people out. And we've never, well, we are doing this like under the name of Climate Network for Lanark. And we may try to get some other members in other parts of the Lanark County, such as Carlton Place and Almont, to do something similar. But yeah, that's about where we're at right now.
Fabulous. Thank you. Louise Brownlee? You're on mute still.
Hi
Yeah.
there. I'm from Oakville. I'm with GAS, which is Grandma's Act to Save the Planet, which I joined at the start of COVID. We have about 160 members, and we've had a lot of rallies. Our best one was in front of Stephen Crawford, who's our progressive conservative MPP. And I think we had about 150 people out saying hands off the Greenbelt. On October 1st, we're going to have a short rally. People are going to meet at 11:30. It's going to go from 12 to 1 in front of the Oakville Public Library. We will have actually some strollers. Some people are going to be, some of the grandmas are going to be pushing strollers, and maybe we'll have the planet in it. Just sort of a bit of a visual. And we will have a table there with petitions, and I'm going to try to involve, there's quite a few environmental groups in Oakville, and I will try to get them involved in this climate action, because I think we'd love to have 100 people out anyway. So that's our plans in Oakville.
That is cool. Thank you. And last to Joanne Henderson. Joanne, are you there? I can't, we can't see on the screen.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm here. Can
Great.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I'm wearing headphones and I've not done this before. I'm Joanne Henderson, and I'm from Thunder Bay, Ontario. I'm co-organizing this with Walter Epp from Lakehead University. We have other people who have indicated that they would like to be involved, so we're actively asking them now. This came as a result of a larger group that we have in Thunder Bay called CUSP, or Citizens United for a Sustainable Planet, which includes all ages of people. And so we have a great cross-section of seniors and youth, including university students and high school students. We also had Fridays for Future in there, was organized by a young activist in Thunder Bay. So we already have the involvement of both young and old, and we are definitely focusing on the interactions between the two, how seniors can help youth get the things done that they want to do. We have seen, I saw the list that you posted about things that to help us with our actions, and incredibly we started and completed several of the things that are on that list. So I'm really happy about that, because we have not been involved for very long. I'm really enjoying listening to what everybody else is doing, because these are some fantastic ideas, and I'll take them back to Walter tonight or tomorrow. It seems that we will be, at this point, located in Hillcrest Park, which is a very scenic park on High Street in Thunder Bay that overlooks the Sleeping Giant. Very significant for many reasons, because it has a First Nations aspect to it as well. And we have First Nations, Fort William First Nation is interested in being involved, so we have those included. The question I would like to ask, this has all come together, it's very kind of loose knit at this time, but it seems to be coalescing really well. The question I would like to ask is, we have been invited to not advertise, but to distribute posters, et cetera, flyers, et cetera, at a Labor Day gathering on September the 2nd. And we would like to have the flag if we can get it, but I don't know if they will be ready by then. So I'd like to ask that question. We did apply for one. I know that's a lot earlier than what we really need it for. If we can't get a flag, we'll make up some other kinds of posters or flags or whatever to indicate who we are. And that's about it.
Great. Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you.
And just before I go to Barb Linz, who's going to talk about Napanee, I just want to answer a couple of general questions that have been brought up. Barb's going to talk about Napanee and then try to get a sort of an overall assessment of where we should go in the conversation from there. But the two questions that came up, one was about SCAN, which is Seniors for Climate Action Now. So the Seniors for Climate, which is this initiative, is a coalition or joining together or project of 6 different seniors climate groups. They are Suzuki Elders, which is essentially based mainly in the West Coast. Climate Legacy, which is a network of seniors groups across the country, mostly in Ontario. GASP, which is just mentioned, Grandmothers and Others Act to Save the Planet. CALL, which is called the Climate Action for Lifelong Learners. And grandparents for, what is it?
For our grandchildren.
For our grandchildren, yeah, sorry, for our grandchildren. And then SCAN, Seniors for Climate Action Now. So Seniors for Climate Action Now is one group within the 6 groups that are organizing this event. So we're all working together, trying to use our resources collectively and trying to together think about how we can build common action across the country. The other question was around youth, and someone said that they were disappointed at our last meeting about that. So just to say that our emphasis is first of all on mobilizing seniors and then in support of youth. And but we also are, we don't have a central way of doing the support youth. So we're relying on people in each of their locations to do that. And people are doing that in different ways. But the emphasis is on getting our demographic organized and active. And we also, as I mentioned, there's the issue of Indigenous nations as well and support for Indigenous people. These are things that we have to learn how to build in to what we're doing, make the connections with youth, and different groups are doing it in different ways. But just to say that the general idea is to do that, but implementing it is another question, how we go about doing it. So I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to go to Barb now, and then Barb, you can maybe talk about Napanee and then tell us where we should go from here.
Yeah, I'm kind of wearing 2 hats here. I live in Napanee, and I'm, part of this whole wonderful process where I get to talk to all of you people on the phone, and it's really nice to see what people actually look like. So Napanee is about 5,000 people in the town proper. The greater Napanee is probably 15,000. We have a lot of environmental issues, like a new asphalt plant that went to the land tribunal, and the land tribunal basically said that this company could put in their asphalt plant 400 meters from our pristine Napanee River. And we're getting a 3rd gas plant. But with the politics of our area, we couldn't get a critical mass of people out. The gas plant is 15 kilometers away from Napanee proper. So we're planning a symbolic event that was inspired by the poster with the senior person handing over the globe, the pristine globe, to the younger person. And so we're going to be at the local secondary school with as many seniors as we can get out. They have an eco club, and so we're going to be working with them. And we will likely have an elder from Tyendinaga Mohawk territory, which is right adjacent to Napanee, hopefully talking about the 7 generations principal. We've got a local folk singer who happened to write a song for Avril Lavigne when she was like 12 or something and living in Napanee. And we have the plan is for the seniors to read the pledge together. And we've got, somebody has this 6 foot in diameter kind of soccer ball thing that he's going to give to us to have a friend of ours paint as a globe. And there's going to be a symbolic handing over to the young people in the high school. And we're going to leave a signed or a copy of the framed copy of the poster to leave in the high school. We've got we're going to outreach to seniors residences, and there's a seniors outreach service organization in the community. We have a community newspaper right in Napanee that you know, will do an article and then report on it. And so, you know, it's the kind of thing that you can actually probably organize in 2 weeks. I mean, we have to wait until the teacher, the Eco Club teacher, comes to school at the beginning of September so that we can nail down all of the items. But we've got the approval from the vice principal, so it's a go. And I actually had a conversation with somebody from quite a small place in BC who started, you know, talking today about how they were going to try and do something with the school, the high school's environmental club. And I said, you know, wait, this is what we're doing. And she said that sounds exactly what, you know, we think we could do. So that's me. And I don't have any questions because I'm trying to answer them. So there were specific questions. The proclamation, people are engaging with their local municipality to try and get October 1st declared as Seniors for Climate Day. Kingston has already done it. And I think, Nick, am I correct that in the toolkit, or you know, formal, what it looks like with the seal and everything. So if people are interested in doing a proclamation, I mean, obviously, the rules for, you know, when you have to approach council and all that kind of stuff is going to be different from town to town or city to city. But in terms of the wording, it's quite good. And somebody was talking about a petition template. There's Camrose, Alberta, is doing a petition. I don't know. I know that they're going to, one of the people involved is going to be in the library tonight, talking about the petition or getting people to sign the petition. I don't know what their outreach is in terms of the petition, but it's a petition to the House of Commons. Their MP is a Conservative. He's prepared to read that into the Hansard. You know, I don't know whether it's going to be October 1st or at some point, as long as they get 25 signatures. And you know, there's all sorts of things you can build around that sort of thing. I mean, you can have a table at a farmer's market. You can, you know, build in more than just the petition. You can go to seniors residences, but you know, all of the kinds of things that people have talked about as possibilities. You know, going and having a kind of an educational thing at seniors residences and getting them to sign the petition. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things you can build on to having a petition, which are kind of more organizing in, you know, rather than just, you know, having a table somewhere where people can sign the petition. So if people are thinking about doing a petition, you know, try to think of how that can be more of a public thing, or more of a thing that, you know, you've got something that you're showing seniors. Like, I think there are some communities that are actually doing their seniors residences earlier than October 1st, with the hope that it'll be an adventure for the seniors, to have their bus that's, that they have often in seniors residences, to take them to whatever's going on in the community. So it's like building that kind of thing in advance. So, and Lethbridge was talking about permits, or somebody said, is it kosher for the city to waive the cost or waive the permit? There's, each city or town has different rules for permits and liability insurance, and often the town, like I know for sure Georgetown, in Kingston, there's a lot of communities where if people are booking a place that's city or town property, often they will waive or add on to this liability insurance cost that's pretty manageable, so that people don't have to, I mean, hardly any of the organizations that we're involved with actually have, or maybe some of them do. If they have liability insurance as an organization, it may make some sense for them to book wherever you're trying to get your event, so that their $2 million of liability insurance is covered. But that's something that people, that's also a thing that is different from town to town and city to city. So most people have actually booked places. The people, most people that are on this call pretty much know where their event's going to be held. So the
Sorry,
question
Barb, I think
Yeah?
Lori Goldman has a question on insurance.
Okay, Lori?
Thanks. I was just going to say that we discovered that in Penticton, we were able to book places like the college or senior center or any city facility. And there's an online insurance website that you can go to, and it's only $7 for all of that coverage. And so it makes the organization that's renting you the place feel better. And it makes it more sort of legitimate, and it is quite a simple website. It takes 5 minutes to fill out your information, and then you just pay by Visa.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
to say, Barb, just 1 second, sorry. The question was, if they don't have insurance and the city's okay with it, is that all right? And the answer is yes. If the
Yes.
city doesn't require it, that's not a problem, I would say, right?
But we have some information about, Dave, about that it's on one of our toolkits, right? That there's this company called,
Yeah.
do you remember what it's called, Lauren?
Easy Insure.
Easy Insure. Is that
Something.
what it was?
That's
Something
one,
like that.
one of two listed, yes.
The one that we used was called eventpolicy.ca.
Okay, well,
put it in the
just
chat.
send it to me, send it to me, and I'll make sure it goes into the toolkit so that people can use it. So small communities, like like Dave, I mean, if you can't do a rally, I mean, if you're not going to get it, like if you don't have a critical mass of people to do a rally, I mean, there's, lots of other things that you could do that are smaller, like some, symbolic stuff. I wouldn't be worried about getting numbers out in Nelson. There's somebody in Castlegar that's organizing something small. Oh, I've got so many people that I've been working with. Anyway, I mean, I'll remember. Anyway, I like the potluck idea. I mean, those are great ideas for small communities, or some kind of an event that's, you know, that has a bunch of symbolic stuff, like, you know, that the rocking chairs and the strollers with, you know, that, you know, like, who's doing the walking? Lori, you're doing something with, you know, people coming to the location with their walkers and their you know, Nordic poles and their, you know, all, you know, I mean, it's a way of characterizing this really sort of visibly as a seniors thing. So, you know,
I think we lost Barb there for a second.
say, because most people didn't have questions.
Okay. So, yeah, so that's true. I mean, it seems like the majority of people, in fact, mostly everybody wants to hear what other people are doing. And I think we accomplished that. There's been a lot of information around what different people are doing, right, Barb?
Yeah.
I would say. There's a couple of specific things. The proclamation, we will send that out. The one that was done in Kingston, we'll send that out afterwards. You cut out when you were talking about that, Barb, and I think we were saying that it's on the webpage, and I believe it is, but I can't seem to find it at the moment. But either way, we're going to send it out to you, and we'll send out the tips questions.
It's very fancy. It's on, you know, it's got scrolly kind of stuff and a big seal on it, and you know, it's quite lovely actually. And we can also send the wording out of the petition from Camrose. They actually had there was an article in their daily or weekly newspaper already about it. Worded. I mean, if people want to do a petition to you know, federal, I mean, it would be neat actually if there were a series of petitions from various places that, you know, were being read by Tories into Hansard. I mean, I don't know that we're going to be able to get people into the gallery or anything. I mean, but I mean, that's and certainly will be publicizing those things, because that's, you know, he said even though he disagreed with it, you know, they're his constituents, and you know, they get 25 names and it'll be read into Hansard, you know, in the House of Commons, you know. So, but I mean, they're also getting press about it as well. So that's two good things. There wasn't anything else actually. Has anybody got, you know, more ideas? Or Dave, you wanted something? You get enough?
So,
You're on mute,
You're mute.
Dave. You're on mute, Dave. We'll go to Laurie in a second. Go ahead, Dave. There you go.
Yeah.
Good to go now.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the strollers with earths inside them. And one thing that it occurred to me I didn't say was that we were thinking of possibly doing a little march from that RBC bank, and you know why we chose RBC, and to our MLA's office. We have an NDP MLA, and we have, of course, an election coming up on October the 19th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Council of Canadians is actually putting on a town hall forum on the 3rd. So that's just a couple of days after our own demo. And I think that publicizing that will be an important thing to do at the same time. So having a march from one little bit of Nelson to another, but going from the problem to the potential help.
The solution. Yeah.
Maybe a good idea, symbolic idea to do.
That's great. So you got a lot, you know, enough out of this that it's helpful, because I know you came saying, how can we do something small and, you know, meaningful in Nelson? So
Lori had her
I
hand
just
up.
wanna-
Lori had her hand up.
Lori, you had, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying that my question was, what should our ask be on the petition? Should it be for a National Seniors Day, or that they declare this week, the week of senior?
For the proclamation?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the proclamation. I mean, it depends, you know, you ask for what you think you can get. I mean, if, you know, like in Kingston's situation, Kingston is declaring it Kingston, you know, Seniors for Climate Day. So, you know, I mean, I was thinking that it was possible that the places could get out of this by saying, you know, because it's National Seniors Day, that they had to proclaim it National Seniors Day, but that wasn't the case in Kingston. So, just use their wording and can change it to suit your circumstances.
Let me
David
just step in
Goldman?
for a second, Barb, on that. So there's two things. There's the proclamation, and then there's the petition to the federal government, which is what CanRose is doing. In the petition, so the federal we call House of Commons, and I think under the federal government, declared a climate emergency. So they've accepted there's a climate emergency. Most cities, I don't know, in towns, I don't know if most is the right term, but certainly a lot of them have recognized there's a climate emergency. Problem is, what are they doing about it? And that's where the issue comes. So in the messaging, the two things we're emphasizing is end the use of fossil fuels and begin now to take the steps that need to happen, and develop, other alternatives which are available to solve the problems. And so you could choose to focus on that with a petition. A proclamation is more like a different thing, but I think your question was, at least in the chat, was around a petition. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. That's good.
I mean, Kingston was the first, I think, city in Canada that declared a climate emergency, and they've got a climate action plan, and there's a ton of people working in a coalition around, like holding their feet to the fire in terms of what they're actually doing. So I mean, their proclamation was within that context, and anyway, read it and see if it works for you.
And just on the petition as well, and Dave Smith put some information in the chat. There is a formal procedure one must follow for a petition to be properly put before a member of parliament and require them to read it. 25 signatures requires them to read it, but there's a format and a process that you must follow in order to get that to happen. So Dave has put some connections in the chat that you could use. So take a look at those. And then David Goldman has his hand up.
Thank you. I really liked what Don Brown was talking about in terms of moving money to make a statement. And is there anything happening that way, Nick, in the group? Is anyone working on that as a policy or a plan, or as something to share with other members?
You want me to take that one, Barb, or you want to handle it?
Yeah, do you want to talk about the people in Scan Kingston and what they did?
Well, so there are different groups, as I said, in the coalition. Some are doing work on divestment, some are doing work on RBC campaigns, etc. Don, for example, with Elders for Climate Sanity. So there's different initiatives around that, and I don't know enough about the Kingston, at least I don't remember enough about it, but there are groups within the broader coalition that are focusing on things like that. It's not something that's the general approach we're taking is basic idea of what the day is about. Local groups do it in the way they choose to do it. Some might focus on divestment, some might focus on education, some might focus on, here's Dave Gregory coming back in. So the leeway is there. But for information on who's doing stuff, you want to maybe mention what they did in Kingston? Because I'm not sure.
Oh, no, it was just individuals that had,
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
There was somebody who had from when they were 5 years old, their father took them by their hand and took them into the RBC branch, and they've had an account with RBC since they were 5 years old. There was another couple who had, major investments in RBC, and it wasn't just that they did this, it's that the press, they got a lot of, or a fair amount of press for it. I mean, it's not like a massive number of people at the same time, which would be kind of a campaign thing, as opposed to, like it got some press when it happened.
Well, I think it's an extremely important initiative, and it's something that would show that we have a bit of strength. There are a
So
lot
you're
of
talking, you're talking about doing it on October 1st?
Well, I'm talking about having it in our literature so that people can see what the impact might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for that. We're starting to lose people. We're down to about 14, and I think about, we also said we can stay on. So I just want to formally wrap up the session. But anybody who wants to stay on to talk, happy to do that. But a couple of things I want to address before we formally end it. One was a question asked, can we have a flag by September 2nd? I'm not sure. We will try and find out. I think the person who asked that question is Joanne is still there. So we'll try and find out the answer to that.
Can I just comment on that, Nick? Because if you look on the toolkit and the resources, there are templates for practically everything, like large banners, smaller banners, and you could actually basically use one of them to make something for your to the size that you need.
Yeah, that's correct. And then the other question was about a talk that could be used, and we'll see if we can do that. I think it was David Goldman brought that up. If we can get somebody like Suzuki to do a talk that could be videoed and then shown in different locations. We are looking into that. I can't say for sure it's going to happen, but hopefully something like that could happen. We'll see. I also want to remind people again, August 27th at 6:30. That's a week. I think that's a Thursday. Or no, Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, sorry. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, there will be a meeting of organizers, of all across the country. So last time we had about 75 or 80 people at that. You will hear about events happening in broader terms, but also where we're at in terms of organizing the event on the first and the last push, what's available to you, etc. So I'm encouraging you to sign up for that and attend that session. And also remind you on September 11th, we want to get as many people as possible to a webinar that will really mobilize across the country. It will be wonderful. We can have more than the 550 people registered for the one in May. I want to thank everybody who, attending. It's been really helpful to everyone, I'm sure, to hear what each other has to say. Most people, that's why you were here. You want to get some ideas from each other. And I'm hoping that we did accomplish that. And then, so thank you. It's an incredible initiative, incredible to see this participation from across the country. Anyone who wants to stay on, we're happy to keep talking. So, but just to bring it to the formal end. Lori.
I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to all of the support. Thank you to Eric. Thank you to setting up this website and getting this going. It is really exciting to be part of something that's like Lead Now, like 350, like all of these things that we have done, but it is specific to our concerns. And I think the support is amazing, and you guys have done a great job.
Thank you.
Cool. It really is amazing the number of people who have come together across the country to do this, and it's just the beginning. There's a lot more to do and a lot to, but it's incredible. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
I think you got to go
Take
to another
care.
Other
meeting.
questions?
Bye.
Another question? Yeah. Who has a question?
I don't know. I'm just wondering, any other questions?
Oh, I see. Yes, Rob.
Well, if you have time, just for a second, several people have mentioned RBC being involved mostly in a negative way, I gather. I hadn't heard about this either way.
Do you want more information on that, you mean?
Yeah, just in a couple
Okay, I mean,
of sentences.
I can, yeah. I think Don will probably have a lot to say, but just the general idea is the largest investor in fossil fuel expansion among banks in Canada is RBC. So I don't know the total amount, but it's a huge amount in the hundreds of billions, I believe, that have been invested in expanding the use of fossil fuels. And in particular, in indigenous territories where they're building pipelines in spite of the opposition by the local indigenous people, they carry on and do that, and they've denied their representatives of those groups access to their shareholder meetings. There's been quite a strong campaign across the country about that particular bank, but that's one example. Maybe Don, you might want to comment on it because you've been very involved in that. You're on mute, Don. Don, you're on mute, yeah.
I think you've covered the main things. Certainly the rights of Indigenous people, their rights have been invaded, and also they are the biggest of all the banks investing in the fossil fuel industry. Yes.
Would you, Rob, would you like some information on that? Or
I think that's enough to get me going there. And when you talk about investment in oil, fossil fuel, living in Alberta, I would say the Alberta government ranks right up there with one of the largest investors.
Totally.
We built the entire Fort McMurray infrastructure with foregone royalties. We gave them the oil for free without royalties until all their infrastructure was paid for. Now we're looking at doing the same with coal. So
when you consider that the scientists of ExxonMobil 40 to 50 years ago were advised that if they continued to burn fossil fuels, that it would be catastrophic for the earth. And when they heard that, the executives heard that, they did all sorts of things to put out disinformation on that whole thing. It's also a very immoral, it's an immoral thing. It's an ethical matter as well as financial. Yes.
Unfortunately, ethics are pretty hard to argue in the press.
Yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for setting it up. I should head off now.
Okay.
A lot of people thank us for what we do on the street when we issue our leaflets to them. There are other people who go by, and not very many, but every once in a while, someone will go by and say, "I love oil." And
yes,
then
of course, yeah.
You know, so there's both sides. Of
course, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. It looks like we're pretty well ready to go. Take care. Barb, you want to stay on for a second? And David? Yeah. Take care. Nice to see you again, Don.
I know.
Hang in there.
Thank you.
Okay. You okay there, Don? I can do it for you if there's a problem.
Oh, here I am. There we go.
Got it? Okay. Okay. All right. So generally, debriefing.